The sun shines down during a hot day in June. Louis Zamperini spent 47 days on a raft with almost no food. This was once a famous Olympic runner and his incredible story had just begun. Louis Zamperini was born to Italian immigrants on January 26, 1917 in Italy, New York. He had one older brother and two younger sisters. As a child, he moved to California where he was bullied. His dad taught him boxing so that he could defend himself. Even though he grew into being an amazing runner, he actually started drinking and smoking when he was younger than 10. He also sometimes hopped trains and stole food. After being caught by the police many times, they suggested he should start running. After his brother taught him how to run, he achieved a record for the fastest mile at 4 minutes and 21 seconds in high school. He received a track scholarship to college and became part of the 1936 U.S. Olympic track team. In the Berlin Olympics, Louis Zamperini finished in 8th place, but when Hitler saw him run, he was asked to meet him. For a souvenir, he even took the Nazi flag from the German chancellery and was allowed to keep it. To this day, it is still on his property. After the Olympics, the war began. Louis enlisted in the U.S. Army Corps in 1941. He was stationed in Hawaii during his time. On May 27, 1943, he did something that would change his life forever. A B-24 plane crashed into the thrashing waters of the Pacific Ocean. Zamperini was one of the crew members stranded on that plane. Louis Zamperini and two other survivors on the plane found a small hole to fit through and escaped. They went onto an inflatable raft for 47 days with almost no food or water. After washing up on Japanese land, Louis wakes up in a small, cage-like room. He later found out he was in a prisoner of war camp. There he met his nemesis called the Bird. In the war, he went to 3 different war camps where he was beaten and injected with strange things. One day, he was forced to do a propaganda radio broadcast from Japan. After the broadcast, his parents, who thought he was dead, knew he was actually living. He was in the camps for over 2 years but was released at the end of the war. After his horrific experience, he came home and met Cynthia Applewhite, who he later married. He wrote an autobiography called Devil on My Heels, where he first revealed his story. Problems with drinking after he came home, so he started talking to a Christian preacher. He ended up forgiving most of the people who tortured him on a trip to Japan after the war. He was awarded the Purple Heart Award and even had the honor of carrying the Olympic torch in Japan to start the 1998 Olympics. Louis Zamperini has an inspiring story that I think should be heard. I really admire his life. He started out as a troubled kid but changed with the help of his brother and became a star Olympic runner. One of the most admirable things he did was after the war, when he forgave every single person who had ever hurt him. Then, Laura Hillenbrand wrote Unbroken, which will be made into a movie due for release in 2014. 2 important lessons that people can learn from Zamperini's story are that you can still do good after you have done bad things, and forgiveness can be possible even after the most devastating cruelty. Lights, camera, action. The director, Angela Jolie, shouts as she prepares to share Louis' amazing story with the world. Thank you for watching my story about Louis Zamperini.